Babe, this is your permission slip to be a fucking bitch. And sometimes you need to be a bitch to him, okay? Sometimes you need to tell him what you really think of his fashion sense. Sometimes you need to tell him what you really think of his messy room. Sometimes you need to tell him what you really think of his cooking skills, of his domestic skills, of his inability to text you back straight away, or his inability to communicate clearly, or whatever issues that you have, okay? I know I previously said you need to show him your anger in a controlled, contained way. This is the thing, is like men are very fearful of women's raw, authentic expression. They have not grown up knowing how to handle women's raw, authentic expression. Most of the time, men are fearful of women's raw, authentic expression. And so that's why it's up to you to be sovereign and process your emotions on your own and get the charge out and deal with it in a sovereign, autonomous way. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Sync and Flow, the podcast. Welcome back. It's been a while. If you're new here, welcome to the show. Please make sure to rate, review, subscribe, follow, share, all the things. If you're an old-time listener, thank you so much for your continued support. Again, please make sure to share, rate, review, subscribe, do all the things to make sure that this podcast reaches all the women that need it, because I do this as a hobby, as a passion. I do not make any money from this podcast, and your support means more than I can even tell you. So thank you so much for being here, love, and welcome back. Welcome to the show. I'm really excited today to give you another episode of one of my favorite segments on this show, which is Date Like a Goddess, baby. Because unfortunately, the dating world in 2026 is pretty fucking fucked. A lot of people are having a hard time. A lot of women are choosing to be celibate. A lot of women are choosing not to date. A lot of women are convinced that staying single and not dating is the only way that they're going to keep their peace. And while I do agree on some levels, I also do not agree, because running away from the problem doesn't change the problem. It doesn't help the problem. And most of the time, even if it may seem like an external problem, a lot of the problems we face are because of an internal programming, an internal nervous system state, an inability to use our internal wisdom and resources to have a different or nuanced perspective of the external problem, okay? So yeah, you may say, oh, but it's the men, oh, but it's the dating apps, oh, but it's this and that and my culture and the city I live in. And I'm saying, no, babe, if you want to be a sovereign, empowered woman, the only way to take back your power is to say, how can I change this? By working on the internal landscape of my being, of my emotions, of my states. Because yes, it may be an external problem, but the only way to heal the external problem is by working on the internal, because then that changes how you show up. And so if you want to have a different perspective to dating, if you want to have a different experience in dating, then you need to change your energetics. You need to fix the energies of your being and the way that you show up, or the ways that you accept shitty behavior, or the ways that you do not accept disrespectful behavior, okay? You teach others how to love you based on the ways that you love yourself, okay? It's really that simple. Other people take cues, take information, take data on how to love you, on how to treat you, based on the ways that you love and treat yourself, based on the ways that you do not accept their shitty behavior, or the ways that you do allow their shitty behavior. Because the thing is, if you're not standing against something, then the other person will automatically think that it's okay because you haven't mentioned it. But meanwhile, you're observing this pattern in the other person and you're just staying silent. You're not speaking your truth. You're not confronting the issues. You're not mirroring to the other person that their behavior is not okay. This is what I say to men. It's like, you may have experienced that this is okay in your other relationships, or other girls may be okay with you acting like this, or for you not paying for the date, for example. For me, that's not going to cut it. Me, that's not going to fly. Me, that's not going to be okay, because I'm a fucking goddess. I'm not the stock standard girl that you've dated before. Okay, dating me is very different from dating other women. This is where it comes. This is what it means to be a high value woman. A lot of men are not used to dating high value women. They're not used to dating goddess, witch, bitch, baddies. And if you are listening to this podcast, assume you either are a high value woman, or you are healing, growing, working hard to become high value woman. A woman who holds herself in high regard, a woman with high self-worth, high standards, and therefore goddess level expectations of what she expects from her life, her friends, from her partner, within her dating life, and also her career, right? So it's all about raising your internal self-belief, raising your internal standards through doing deep identity reprogramming and belief system work. Okay, and if you want to know more about how to do that, please reach out to me via Instagram DM, and I can chat to you about how we can work together, because the foundation of the work that I do with my clients is nervous system rewiring, is identity reprogramming, is subconscious re-patterning, okay? Are literally changing your life from the inside out, okay? And so this is what a high value woman knows, is that her level of self-worth that she holds within her own body, heart, mind, womb coherence is reflected by experiences and the people that she manifests in the external world. So if you want to increase your quality of life, then you need to increase internal belief systems. You need to change and fix and heal internal belief systems and your standards and your self-worth in order to match the life you desire. Okay, it's really that simple. It may sound simple, it's actually very complicated, and it's not something we can do alone. This is deep, deep, deep work we need to do in connection, in relationship, in a coaching container, okay? Because it's only through working with a coach, an external moderator, you can see your own blind spots, okay? That is power of working with an external coach. Someone who can show you blind spots, someone who can help guide you becoming more empowered through showing you, babes, this is where you are leaking power, okay? So really it's about seeing all the ways in which you people please, seeing all the ways in which you still mourn, seeing all the ways in which you freeze up, tense, get dysregulated, or get triggered and give away your power because you don't know how to hold onto your power in a moment of crisis, in a moment of weakness, in a moment of trigger, in a moment where you may be struggling, okay? And the goal is not to stay regulated and calm all the fucking time. No, that's not realistic. It's about being able to feel the dysregulation and move through a series of emotions and ups and downs and still come back to your center and still come back to your grounding. It's about having the tools that allow you to recenter yourself and the self-awareness of how do I go through a trigger or a dysregulating emotion or moments without leaking my power, okay? Because just because you're triggered doesn't mean you now need to give away your power. And that's what I'm saying is in my coaching containers, I teach you how to feel the intensity of the trigger and still remain in control and still remain in your goddess high self-worth energy and power, okay? And so today's episode, I want to talk to you about how you need to stop being the chill, cool girl, okay? So many of us women like to pretend, in especially the early stages of dating, that we are so cool and babe, don't even worry about me. Like, I'm so cool. Like, I'm a really chill, easygoing girl. And I recognize a huge part of myself in this because I also often have said to men, don't worry about me. I'm the chill, easygoing, cool girl, right? I'm so low maintenance. Don't worry about me. You're not gonna stress about me like you have with your previous girlfriends, right? And so in order to seem cool and chill and low maintenance, we end up giving our power away. We end up not gaining the respect of the man that we are with, because in situations where he may not be acting 100% in his power, we just shrug it off and we say, oh, whatever, ha ha ha, right? We just laugh it off. Or we don't have the emotional intelligence and self-awareness to be able to bring it up or to even notice it, okay? So it's really important that we are able to be aware of, how do I want to be treated and how is this man treating me? And when he makes a mistake, as he is likely to do, none of us are perfect, and a lot of these men have no cooking clue on how to treat a goddess, because we haven't grown up in a society that understands how to make space for high value women, how to treat a high value woman. We haven't really grown up in a society where we've been modeled examples of what high value women, empowered in their sexual energy and confidence and their divine organic feminine energy, not this performative feminine energy that we were brainwashed is femininity by patriarchy and by our mothers, right? We were taught that femininity is makeup and dresses and high heels and talking really softly and being really submissive, right? No. That's not femininity. That's not true femininity, okay? And I want to tell you that you trying to be the cool, soft, submissive, chill girl is actually costing you the respect of your partner. And this is the thing, is men work on levels of respect. And so if you want your man to respect you, then you need to be willing to show him your unhinged, emotional, chaotic, slightly too much side of yourself, okay? And I know it's scary, and I know this may feel, oh my God, like I don't want to show him my craziness. I don't want to show him my too muchness. What if he rejects me? What if he abandons me? What if he breaks up with me? What if he says he no longer wants to be with me? And then I say, well, bitch, that's his loss. Well, bitch, that's his problem, not yours. That's his problem that he can't deal with a powerful woman, okay? Because actually, men love a challenge. And this is where it comes down to the primal energies of masculine and feminine polarity. Men enjoy challenge. They enjoy the chase because men regulate through dopamine. What is dopamine? It is the hormone of getting shit done, which means that when they go through a challenging situation and then they resolve it, complete it, find a solution, solve the problem, at the end of that cycle, they get a massive dopamine boost because they've now solved a really challenging, hard problem and they've come out the other end, and the reward is great. The reward is you. The reward is your sexuality, is your body, is your love, is your peace, is you cooking for him, right? You loving him. Men get more from working through challenge and coming out the other side than they do by no challenge at all. If it isn't a challenge to him, most likely he will get bored, okay? And that's why we women should not be focusing on being his piece. No, fuck that shit. The soft girl, like submissive energy is just, it's giving femininity through a patriarchal lens, okay? It's giving weak, meek, submissive, patriarchal acceptance, right? And so I'm not saying be a crazy bitch every single fucking day, or give him a hard time, or emasculate him, or shout at him because he forgot to put his dishes in the dishwasher. That's not what I'm saying, okay? For example, say he forgot to put his dishes in the dishwasher. There is a very deep and powerful way for you to, first of all, not get triggered. Second of all, stay in your power. Third of all, stay regulated and calm. And ask him, hey, come here. And then you point and you don't say anything. And you say, do you see this? Please tell me what's wrong with this situation. And he is very clever, okay? He knows that he's fucked up. He knows that he's made a mistake. He knows, okay? And so all you need to do is hold the container for his realization, for his self-awareness. Trying to emasculate men and shame them and put them down is a waste of time, okay? All you need to do is make him aware, and the rest he can figure out on his own, okay? That's how it goes. Enough of the woman. We've had enough of this archetype of women putting men down. Goddesses don't put men down. Powerful women don't put men down. They may manipulate men, they may use men for their own agenda, but they definitely do not put men down, because they know that men don't learn through shame. In fact, no one learns through shame, okay? And so if you want his respect, you will learn how to communicate in a clear, rational, calm, and educated way, okay? Pointing out his mistake in the most simple, basic, calm language that you can, okay? Because men actually, like I said, they love a challenge. They love a challenge. And when you become silent but violent, not violent in your words or your actions, but violent in the energy that you hold, because now he knows he's done something wrong, but yet you're composed, yet you're calm, but you just have this like intense look on your face, and he has to figure out what's wrong on his own. That is the sweet spot, because first of all, you save your breath. You save yourself the over explanation. Men's brains start to turn off when we just go blah 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 blah, and you did this and no, their brains literally start to turn the fuck off, because they're just reminded of when their mom used to shout at them and complain about all the things that they did wrong. Men are so tired of women telling them what they're doing wrong, and so all you have to do is guide him gently. All you have to do is like show him who you are, and how who he is not in alignment to who you are. You're not trying to change him. You're simply showing, I am here and this is my level of maturity, my level of intelligence, and my level of domestic capabilities. If you want to be with me, you need to match my energy. You need to grow the fuck up. You need to start maturing. You need to stop waiting for me to tell you to pick up your clothes off the floor or to put your dishes in the dishwasher, okay? And so you get to show him that through your actions. Men learn through actions, not words, okay? It's easier for you to teach him something through removing your energy from him and from the situation, rather than trying to shout at him and put him down and nitpick as to why he made a mistake. Men learn through your presence or your absence, okay? So next time, there's no need to try be the chill, cool girl. Sometimes he needs to see your fire. Sometimes he needs to witness your chaos. Sometimes he needs to see the pure intensity of your feminine emotional range, because this is what a healthy, empowered woman looks like. She has range. She can be extremely light and fluffy and happy and giggly, but she can also be dark, discerning, blunt, intense, and straightforward, okay? And take no shit. So it's really about you showcasing him your range. It's also about you not always over-explaining yourself, okay? Especially in the beginning. Less is more, especially in the beginning. Less is more. Less words, less explanation, less emotions, less intensity. And as time goes on, you can slowly increase the intensity through which you communicate, through how you approach him, through how you approach conflict or struggles or a lack of understanding between you. He needs to witness the fullness of your feminine range. He needs to be just a little bit scared of you. He needs to fear your intensity just a little bit, your darkness just a little bit, because it helps to keep him in line. And I'm not saying like he should be acting like a good boy because he's scared of you. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that the way that you communicate to him, instead of trying to be the chill, cool girl, how about you show him how you really feel? And not in a chaotic, snot, tears, crying, all over the show. I don't know what I want. I don't know what to do. No. Men need to be approached with clarity. Show him you're angry, but do it in a clear, contained, manageable way. Show him you're upset, but do it in a clear way. Tell him you're not willing to accept that kind of behavior. Tell him that if he doesn't get a job, he's not going to have the opportunity to be in your future plans. But tell it to him straight. Tell it to him forward, okay? Men love bitches. There is literally a book written, I'll find the name of the author now, called Men Love Bitches. Why Men Love Bitches, and it's by Sherry Argov, and this is a woman's guide to holding her own in relationship. This is a self-help book. In the book, she defines a bitch as an empowered woman who derives tremendous strength from the ability to be an independent thinker, particularly in a world that still teaches women to be self-abandoning. This woman doesn't live in someone else's standards, only her own. Okay, it's a New York Times bestseller. And really, the hashtag Why Men Love Bitches has been viewed over 9.2 million times on TikTok by February 2021. 2023, Bustle reported that both Why Men Love Bitches and Why Men Marry Bitches had gone viral on TikTok and had reportedly exceeded 200 million views on the platform. Babe, this is your permission slip to be a fucking bitch. And sometimes you need to be a bitch to him, okay? Sometimes you need to tell him what you really think of his fashion sense. Sometimes you need to tell him what you really think of his messy room. Sometimes you need to tell him what you really think of his cooking skills, of his domestic skills, of his inability to text you back straight away, or his inability to communicate clearly, or whatever issues that you have, okay? I know I previously said you need to show him your anger in a controlled, contained way. This is the thing, is like men are very fearful of women's raw, authentic expression. They have not grown up knowing how to handle women's raw, authentic expression. Most of the time, men are fearful of women's raw, authentic expression. And so that's why it's up to you to be sovereign and process your emotions on your own and get the charge out and deal with it in a sovereign, autonomous way. Maybe you want to ask him to even hold space for that. So therefore he can hold space and you are processing, but you're not directing it at him, right? You are processing on your own and he's just there to witness you. So he can see what the raw, messy, chaotic intensity looks like when it's not channeled towards him, because then he can see it more clearly. Because if it's channeled towards him, he shuts down, his defenses come, his nervous system gets dysregulated, and then he also starts shouting, being on edge, wanting to run away or fight more, right? So it's like there's the fight or the flight, or fawning, and he starts like people pleasing and being like, oh yes baby, sure, whatever you say, da 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 da. No, you want him to stand in his truth and in his power and in his sovereignty when he replies to you, because also that's when you can get the most out of him and see the most potential for his growth as well as your own, okay? So when you communicate to him, make sure that you are being truthful. You're being blunt. And sometimes he does need you to be a bitch to him, you know? Like sometimes that is the medicine that is needed. We as a society have lost so much contact with what it means to be a bitch. A healthy bitch. A woman empowered in her healthy, sovereign bitch, archetype bitch, energy. So try that next time. Try not explode at him. He can hold space for your explosions, and you can explode into the pillow, into the mattress, punch a boxing bag, whatever you need to do, okay, to get out the emotional charge. And then you can confront him and say, hey, that's fucking not okay. Hey, I think that's really sleazy. Or hey, I think that's really unacceptable. Or hey, I think that's really disrespectful. Like, what the fuck is your problem, bro? You know, you can be stern and bitchy and clear and commanding and powerful without being a weak, emotional little girl. Men don't respond well to histrionic, emotional, chaotic women who leak their power and put their emotions onto other people and make their emotions other people's problem. No, they shut down. They just want to shut down, or they want to rescue you and be like, oh, poor little baby, let me help you. Oh, you know, no, that's not what I need from you. I need you to shut the fuck up and listen and witness me. And unfortunately, the men of current today's society, they're not emotionally very literate. They're not emotionally very intelligent. They're not emotionally prepared to help you get back to a regulated state from chaos. They don't know. They don't have the tools. So you need to be self-sufficient in your own emotional processing, and then you can go to him and be like, after you've thought about it, you know, you don't just want to show up to the conversation not having thought about what you want to say or what you want to address, you know, because then you don't actually get your point heard. So it's up to you to approach the conversations with him directly, clearly, and if you need to show some emotion, do it in the way that the bitch knows best, bluntly, straightforward. Tell him, I feel disrespected. Don't show him the consequence. Oh, I feel so disrespected. No, it's really hard for him to take you seriously when you're ugly crying in his face. You know, like obviously if you're ugly crying about, say, your dog died or you're on your period, something happened that's not about him or you and him, right? That's beautiful. You can show him how upset you are and your emotions, and he can hold space for you and be like, oh, there, baby. It's okay. Like, I got you. Don't worry. You know, that's a beautiful moment to bring you guys together. But when it's directed at him, it's about him, like, how dare you disrespect me? Like, don't you know who I am? Like, oh, can't you see I'm a powerful bad bitch? Like, no, how's he supposed to take you seriously that you're a powerful bad bitch when you're like crying and like all snotty and just like dramatic and yeah, like just being a baby about it, you know, being a little girl. I'm talking about you can be dramatic, just do it with big pussy, big womb woman energy. Tell him how you feel, but do it in a way that he can understand. Be straight, be forward, be blunt. Tell it to him straight. Don't make him guess. Tell him exactly how you feel and exactly what he needs to do in order to fix, okay? Mwah. I hope this episode helped. I hope you got a lot out of it. Remember that it's okay to be a bitch. I think I will make another episode on how to be a sovereign bitch, more empowered in your bitch energy. So look out for that. If you would like to work with me and do some one-to-one coaching, all the links are in the description. Make sure to follow me on Instagram. Make sure to share this post, share this podcast, share this episode. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe. If you're listening on Spotify, please follow. Please share this episode to your Instagram with your friends if you enjoyed it, and send this to one of your besties who need a little reminder of how she can be in her power and be emotional still at the same time. And she doesn't have to pretend to be the cool, chill girl all the time, okay? Because remember, men love bitches.